Arms Week is going on right now, but the Solstice event releases next week. Today we'll explain what you can expect from new holofoil weapons that are beach themed, bonfire bash, crucible activities, and some new rewards. Trials of Osiris returns with some brand new armor and weapons. Issues Bungie is looking into in the Edge of Fate, and there seems to be a lot of them. Raid and dungeon difficulty scaling, some lore about the Conductor, and much more. Welcome Guardians, let's dive right in. So the TWAB this week first kicks off with some Arms Week info. This is the event that's currently live in game, focused on hand cannons. In case you missed it, Bungie introduced a new archetype with the Phonutria Fera hand cannon. Some old favorites are dropping from activities, and you can equip some crazy volatile mods with powerful effects to them. Arms Week is a 1-week event introduced with the Edge of Fate, and it'll be around until next weekly reset on Tuesday, August 5th. So don't miss out on the opportunity to earn some nice rewards while you can. It has its own event home that you can find in the portal main screen, and that has the daily and weekly challenges you'll need to level up the event track. There's holofoil weapons, the event shop with a variety of rewards, and event tokens. You can visit A-1 in the shooting range and use combat telemetry you are earning when completing activities with hand cannons to buy Arms Week event weapons engrams. This special engram can be decrypted at Rahul for free, or you can spend a bit more of the combat telemetry to focus it right there at Ada for higher tier rewards. So the event is out. It's actually pretty fun to use this hand cannon in some of the mods, especially in that new Crucible mode, but there does seem to be some drawbacks when it comes to leveling up the event. You're going to need to complete a lot of those daily and weekly challenges to even have the chance to get the title and complete the track. Now there are more than just 3 daily challenges, there's sort of a second page, but you can see some of the monetization tactics here at work, allowing players to buy some of those reroll chips with real life money and silver. It's not too terrible, it's something we'd expect from any, video game nowadays, but just letting you know. This week the portal has received a new activity, the Coil Returns. This activity was launched during Season of the Wish in the year of Lightfall. Known for its mix of intense combat and interesting modifiers that players could buy from Riven, it was a perfect candidate for our new activity hub in the Edge of Fate. The Coil has 3 paths available in the portal, and the experience can be customized by the players. Go for a B+ or higher tier to earn the best and most powerful gear possible, but be careful not to make it so hard that you can't cross the finish line. With a previous update, they added the option to jump into Master and Grandmaster activities at lower levels, but be careful. If you push a bit too far at 100 levels to be exact, you might end up facing immune enemies. So the Coil was a fun activity back in Season of the Wish, and it's back if you'd like to experience it. From one event to another, we have Arms Week this week, and there's another one coming out next week in Solstice. Solstice as an event is going to last 2 weeks, and there are a few things changing compared with how we celebrated in the past. You can see this epic image right here. The goal of this event is going to be to use the Solstice Forge to create a full set of armor, and then to make it glow. Given that they have a new system of stats and armor in place with the Edge of Fate, it's probably a good moment to earn a few sets. But let's talk about what's changing. For starters, in lieu of a bonfire bash activity this year, they are adding a plethora of modifiers to portal activities. These modifiers are inspired by solar energy, very fitting for the Solstice theme, and you might recognize some of their effects if you have paid attention to the artifact in the past. In the twit here, they list 4 of them, but we'll have to discover the rest for ourselves. There's Hot Potato. Carryable solar flares occasionally drop from defeated combatants. Passing it between players increases the amount of damage it will do. Fired Up. Dealing damage and final blows from solar sources raises a heat meter. Once full, your weapons will cause solar explosions. Class Healing. Heal yourself when using your class ability. And Igniter. Precision hits against scorched combatants cause ignitions. These modifiers will rotate each day on portal matchmaking activities, but can be selected anytime with custom difficulty selection, with one exception. Hot Potato will stay on each day for portal matchmaking activities. Another addition to Solstice this year is the new Solstice Scorched Crucible playlist, and you can imagine what weapon is the main character here, the Scorch Cannon. Both teams will be able to use them in Clash, Control, and Rift game modes. So revel in the chaos and don't forget you can charge the cannon after shooting it for some extra damage. As you play during the 2 weeks of Solstice, you'll earn some free rewards in its dedicated event home. From a unique emblem to a ghost shell to some holofoil weapons. So don't forget completing your daily and weekly challenges so you can progress the event track to earn all of them. They say this version of the event home has a new and improved reward shop where you'll be able to purchase weapons directly up to a tier 4, depending on your guardian rank, as well as up to tier 4 weapon and armor engrams. There will also be glimmer stacks and enhancement cores if you need them. So overall, it seems like Bonfire Bash is returning. There's some modifiers to change things up, but the activity itself may not be too different. I guess we'll have to see next week. The event home like we experienced this week, of course, is back, and players can go out and get some of those cosmetics from the track. They mentioned ghost shells, emblems, and even some of the holofoil weapons, which are sort of beach themed. Starting tomorrow, the Trials of Osiris PvP game mode will be available to players that own the Edge of Fate expansion until the following reset. Pick up a Trials passage or Lighthouse passage depending on your preference and put your best weapons to the test. The map is going to be Burnout. Saint didn't want to change his favorite weekend pastime much, and he has only disabled the power level disadvantages in this new iteration. That doesn't mean he hasn't been busy, there are new rewards to earn. For starters, there's a new set of armor for each class, and on top of that, Saint has secured 5 weapons, including the second ever spread shot hand cannon. During these first 6 weeks of uninterrupted Trials weekends, there won't be a featured weekly weapon. That means you'll be earning all of them while playing your matches, with wins having a higher chance of them dropping. We will have featured weapons again on September 9th, shortly after the Ash and Iron Major update launches, and 2 more weapons will enter the Trials loot pool. We'll talk about those once we're closer. As we enter week 3 of the Edge of Fate, Bungie has more to share about some of the issues players have been encountering. They say when making changes within the game, they obviously never intend to ship nerfs or buffs without communication. They want players to know what's going on so they can be informed on what build crafting options to test out and explore, give Bungie good feedback, and even help distribute the information to friends or clanmates to prep them for upcoming changes. Sometimes things get missed in the process of filing, implementing, and collecting, so here's some of the information they've been gathering with those missing patch notes. For Solar, Ember of Benevolence had its energy regen tuned during the stat rework. The amount of energy regen was reduced from 4 times to 3 times, and the duration of energy regen was increased by 1 second. For Warlocks, Touch of Flame was tuned during the stat rework too. The damage of solar and fusion grenades when enhanced by Touch of Flame was reduced by 10%. For Speaker Sight, the turret's lifetime was reduced from 15 seconds to 9. They wanted to give some room for other exotics for healing. They will be monitoring the effects of this exotic. For Wings of Sacred Dawn no longer reloads your equipped weapon from reserves. Bungie have been investigating reports of player health and shield functionality differing from their original explanation. Upon review, they have found discrepancies. The following is a proper explanation of how these scale with armor stats. Player health stun. The time it takes the red part of the health bar to start regenerating is equivalent to 100 of the old recovery stat. Player health regen is equivalent to 20 of the old recovery stat. The health stun and health regen tuning is intentional to get injured guardians out of danger zone quickly, while leaving room for the health stat and healing verbs to be valuable. For player shields, shield stun and shield regen is equivalent to 20 of the old recovery stat, while your health stat is below 100. When your health stat increases from 100 to 200, your shield stun and shield regen will improve, eventually going beyond 100 of the old recovery stat. From 100 to 200, you will also gain additional shields when facing combatants. And note that the 1 to 100 health stat benefit of healing per orb increases the amount of health and shields gained each time you pick up an orb of power. Here's some things that Bungie is currently looking into. When it comes to Warlocks, they want to acknowledge that players are feeling the sandbox for Warlocks is being left behind compared to the other classes. Buddy builds don't benefit much from the stat changes, and there aren't many meta melee builds that benefit from the additive melee changes, among other feedback. They're investigating a tuning pass for Warlocks that will start with Ashen Iron and continue through Renegades. For Titans, they're investigating an interaction where Unbreakable on Prismatic Titan doesn't appear to work as intended with Shackle Grenades. They're looking at specific issues for exotics. They don't mention what, but these are the list. Controverse Hold, Crest of Alphalupi, Nezarec Sin, Starfire Protocol, Crown of Tempest, Wings of Sacred Dawn, Eunoia, Geomag Stabilizers, Boots of the Assembler, and Rhymecoat Raiment. They're also fixing the following. When it comes to Warlock, Handhold Supernova damage was reduced by 20%. This was not intended. Sunbracers were tuned during the grenade stat rework to function the same as a 70 stat. This should be corrected with the grenade stat fix in update 9.004. For Titans, Throwing Hammer Melee had a cooldown added to picking up the hammer, and its bounce was increased versus bosses. This was not intended and will be fixed in the next update. Grenade Melee Super End class were not regenerating as Bungie presented them pre the Edge of Fate. These were fixed in 9.004. The weapon stat will display at 6% PvP buff after 9.004 despite only being 5. This will be fixed in a future update. Hit markers don't appear in the HUD when players deal damage. They're looking into that. Queenbreaker apparently isn't blinding on shots. Choir of One has lower ammo regeneration than intended. Icebreaker swaps can provide ammo, and certain exotic bows don't interact with Hierarchy of Needs Guidance Ring. If you haven't noticed it, there's an issue with sprint and it's kind of annoying in the Crucible where you move super slow. Bungie said they'll have a quick fix on Tuesday and a long-term one after that. Just a small update when it comes to the Desert Perpetual raid race. They are investigating those reports of cheating with the fire teams who cleared it on contest mode. Breaking the code of conduct and cheating to complete activities is a bannable offense, and they are looking into all of this. Raid and Dungeon difficulty scaling. Bungie will be updating the difficulty for legacy raid and dungeon activities to address player feedback. The combat difficulty for normal and master modes will be reduced by 10 power. They will also be updating difficulty in the combined Mastery, Triumph, and the Desert Perpetual raid to address player feedback. Base combat difficulty will be lowered by 10 power, enemies will deal less damage, and players will be able to deal more damage. They will be lowering the Cutthroat Combat raid feat, specifically the combat difficulty by 10 power too. It was plus 40 combatant power, will be plus 30 combatant power now. They will be lowering the combined Mastery Triumph to only require a single completion at base difficulty, which will upgrade gear rewards by 1 tier depending on number of feats active. And lastly, to close it out, we have a lore brief on the Conductor Maya Sundaresh. The Conductor has been spotted within the operational zone on Kepler. All operatives are advised to process through Vex territory with extreme caution. Report all direct contact with the Conductor to Operational Command immediately. The Conductor wields an echo of paracausal power. It is a remnant of the clash between light and dark that erupted from the death of the Witness. This echo allows Maya to impose her will onto others, forcing them to follow her commands. While originally only able to employ this power over the Vex and the Exos, she has shown the ability to exert this power over non-Exo Guardians as well. Prior to becoming the Conductor, Maya Sundaresh had once copied her consciousness into the Exo Lakshmi II. Lakshmi was killed in the Vex raid of her own making during the Endless Night, after stirring anti-Elixni's sentiment to a fever pitch within the city. Maya Sundaresh's true goal is to reunite with her wife Chioma Essie, but Vanguard records state that during the events of the Conductor's rise on Nessus, Chioma Essie was judged to be flawed and murdered by the Conductor's own hand. Before reforming as the Conductor on Nessus, Maya Sundaresh had been an Ishtar Collective scientist. While researching the Vex, she was copied and simulated endlessly. Those various iterations exploring the VexNet, many still exist, wandering lost in the network. But anyway, Guardians, there you have it, this week in Destiny for the end of July. Arms Week is this week, there's a new event in Solstice next week as we progress into the next update for Ash and Iron at the beginning of September. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.